No, I can't start my video off with that music. That music is too iconic, and the only thing that should come after hearing it is playing the game for yourself. And that game is Sword of Vermilion, an action RPG released on the Mega Drive in 1989, and also just called Vermilion in Japan. Damn, that's some cool artwork. Genesis even took out a 2-page ad, making it one of their flagship games that come out with the system at the time. Google users seem to like it, and fans of the game love it. And Wikipedia even cites the publications at the time as giving it really positive reviews. In a bold move by the creators of the game plays out over a multitude of viewpoints, from top-down in towns to first-person dungeon crawling. The battles being played out over an isometric plane and side-by-side keep the game feeling fresh and exciting, and I just always can't wait to see what's coming around. Sword of Vermilion doesn't offer enough nostalgic charm to excuse its crude, tedious design. Sword of Vermilion was one of the first role-playing games released for the Sega Genesis, and such it gets a lot more credit than it deserves. 4.2 from GameSpot. So, for the most part, I think these critics might be mistaking old game design for poor game design. Because as far as I remember, in older RPGs, you could get ambushed by a group of enemies and lose a ton of life like that. You had to do things like keep lanterns and candles and different spells about you to keep places lit. Poison could deal a lot of damage in certain parts of the game. Random encounter rates could be sky high, 2 steps, 1 step, or sometimes even getting into a battle right after you're done with one, and having to remember to use the take function to take things out of treasure chests are all attributable, I think, to older game design. Except this part here where you have to repay someone after staying at the inn for free for a while. That's just sneaky, I don't like that. So this game is not perfect, but it's also not far from perfect either. The one thing for me that would take Sword of Vermilion from a 9 to a 10 is to make that sword longer. I do love this game, but as far as battles go, man, it feels like sometimes it should be called Short Stubby Stick of Vermilion instead. And just like most older RPGs, the difficulty spike in this game is right at the beginning. So let's get into the game and check it out, and maybe see why this game might turn some people off from the get-go. But for me, since I've had it as a little kid, it's always been the opposite. There we go. And in being a little self-indulgent, I am gonna let this intro play out because I love this song. And that low note gets held out into the next screen. So cool, man. So masterfully done. So we're going to start a new game in order to get that day 1 experience. And I'm going to name my guy after the protagonist in my favorite RPG of all time. A first-person dungeon crawler on the Sega Saturn that is the spiritual successor to its Genesis counterpart. And a shining example of what the perfect RPG looks like. So as far as the story of the game goes, here's the Cliff Notes version. Bad King invades Good King's land. Good King gives you as a baby to his most trusted servant to escape before the kingdom is overtaken. And you realize later on that they are monsters in disguise and not people. And on your 18th birthday, events take place that thrust you into a journey to avenge your father's death. So nothing really groundbreaking or overly complex there, but a good start to our game. I mean, who can't identify with a vengeance story? The Bad King is looking for you? And here you are, in the town of Whitecliff. And man, another cool, powerful opening to the game. Your quote-unquote father is on his deathbed right now, and we're gonna go see him, and I just think the music perfectly encapsulates that. Everyone has been looking for you. Your father is nearing death's door. Okay, well, let's go find him. I will say that this guy does move pretty slow. I do wish he moved a little bit faster, but hey, that was games back then. People weren't in such a rush to run all over town. They took their time. Let's go upstairs. Alright, let's change the message speed first, because that's getting annoying. Nothing could be done. I am not your real father. Well, we knew that, but he didn't know that. I think it's cool for like a moment there. You know more than your character does. He's telling us about the ring we need to go fetch to start our game off. Okay, we get some money. And now we're off to go start our journey. The first place we're going to want to go visit is the weapon shop. Because we need to buy a sword and a shield. We can't afford anything more than 2 pieces right now, so you either have to buy the sword and the shield or the sword and the armor, but you have to buy a sword because you can't go around punching people. I was wondering where the weapon shop was. I thought it was closer. Right by the entrance. Okay. So as you see, we only have 200 Kim, so we can't buy much. We're going to buy the bronze sword. And of course we need to remember to equip this, because things don't get automatically equipped. I think I'm not gonna buy the shield for now. I'm gonna try and grind. Do I want to grind? 400 for the armor, 80 for the shield. I think I can go without the shield for a little bit and just grind for a better piece of armor. So let's go do that. Now we're gonna go talk to the guy that gives us our map. In every town, I believe, there's one person that'll give you the map of the next area. Not the next cave or dungeon, but the next part of the wilderness or the outside. I've heard people complaining about, like, not being able to find the maps. Well, did you talk to everyone in town? Because it's usually always there. So let's leave town, and we're off to start our journey. Now, we're going to have to grind for a little bit to get some gold and experience. That's not going to take long. Okay, what? Wait, whoa, what the? Oh my god. What the hell happened? Did I? Oh my god, I forgot to equip my freaking sword. Okay, so, we made a mistake. I did the one thing I talked about not doing. Alright, so let's go back to town and go to the inn real quick. It's better to waste 10 Kim now than to lose half of it when we die. I can't believe I did that. Well, alright, so that does happen in this game sometimes. Alright, let's go. Let's do this again. So as I was saying, we're going to need to grind for a little bit to get experience and gold to buy our stuff, and yeah, much like in older RPGs, the grind comes early, and it comes without mercy. As you see, the encounter rate being this high won't really give us much of a problem grinding and leveling up. And that sword really is short, but I think for the people complaining about it so much, once you start to get used to the rhythm, it's not that bad, though. I do feel like it should be longer. And also, oddly enough, when you swing the sword and it goes up, before it comes down again, there's like a little window in there where you could get hit. So you really do have to time it properly if you're not going to hit him with the first strike. See, like that, but not bad. We're just gonna... These slimes are easy enough. Yeah, the enemies do pick up, obviously, in casting spells and stuff like that, and they do get stronger. And just like that, we've got our first level up. That's exactly how long it takes, and there was no editing there. Wink, wink. Alright, so since we leveled up, I went back to town, saved, restocked on supplies like herbs and candles and stuff, and I think we're ready to take on this first cave. The enemies here don't get that much harder. Alright, I'll take you guys out. I always find it's easier to kill the enemies when you're on like a straight line with them. Like up or down. So upon entering the cave and leaving the cave, geez. Upon entering the cave, you can't see anything around you. Even on the map, it's just completely blank. So we're going to go ahead and use a candle to light this place up. There we go, it's a little better. I see we actually do have to find a map to this place in this place. And you would think it would be really difficult, but I think in most cases the map is pretty close to the entrance. So if you find yourself wandering too much, you may have missed it. Also, do not accidentally leave, because you will have to use another candle to light the place up. And there we go, there's our map, I believe. Open. There we go. And then, what most people forget, take. We're going to open this door, and that's another thing I saw people saying, like, oh, they got stuck because they didn't know they had to open the door. Like, come on, people, what are you doing? Have you never played an RPG before? And take those guys out like a pro. I think the ring we need, if I remember correctly, is just at the end of this hallway. A pretty small dungeon. It is our first dungeon. It's funny, because when like you first enter it, it seems big, and then you look at it, like, okay, that's nothing. I have waited a long time for you. Ring of Wisdom. Very nice. Okay. So, we don't have any spells or items to take us out of here yet, so we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and hoof it. Hoof it back out. Oh, see? Got hit there when I probably shouldn't have. I can't believe I went that long without an encounter. Okay, you guys are a little stronger and a little more annoying, so I'm just going to run. At level 2, I don't know, you may take out a lot of health on me. Let's open the door again. And get out of here and head back to town. No ambush there. So we finished our first quest, and we're gonna go head back to town. Get a new map for the next area. Go to the next area, get a map for the dungeon, go to the dungeon, beat the enemies, complete the quest, and the game pretty much continues like that with those pretty epic side-by-side boss fights. I was just checking because I thought I forgot to take the ring, but I forgot he gives it to you. So, despite the one big glaring problem where your sword is underwhelming, I wish it had a longer reach in a lot of instances, the game, to me, is pretty much as close to perfect as you can get. And like I said, I feel like the people complaining about this game and giving it 4.2s are mixing up old game design with poor game design. I mean, this game is just about 30 years old at this point. What were you expecting? But even for being 30 years old and the graphics and music being 30 years dated, I still think there's an amazing magnitude to a boss battle like this.